Good morning, everyone. This is Chris Paul from the Intuitive Wellness Spa. It is Wednesday, June 3rd, and this is our Wellness Wednesday video for this week. Before we begin, we would like to offer our support for all those who are battling with the battle of racism in our country. We stand with all those who are standing up against racism at this time. We stand with all of our clients, our family, and our friends who are Black, who have been suffering with racism for far too long. We don't have any clear outlet for what we can mostly do to be supportive, but you have our support and our prayers nonetheless, and we welcome suggestions of how you'd like us to get more involved. But in the meantime, know that we are standing with you and we are praying for you, and that we do believe that Black lives matter. That being said, today is Wellness Wednesday, and I am here to help everyone start living a healthier life to be the better you that you can be. As we are coming through this pandemic, we hope, and we are starting to move into opening back up in our state here in Maryland, but as well as all over the country, healthy habits that you might have been starting while you were on the stay-at-home order are going to suddenly become more difficult to manage again. And just the stress and the anxiety of everything that has been going on can take its toll on the body. And so I thought that what I'd like to do is actually start a series. So this is going to be the first of several that we're going to do on healthy living. And what I'm going to actually be going over for you is a system that has been put in place by Arbonne that's called 30 Days to Healthy Living. And I'm going to talk you through each of these sections. We're not going to you can do anything you'd like right now, but we're not going to try to cover all of this in 1 week. So we're going to talk a little bit today, we're going to talk a little bit more next week, and so on. And then for those of you who would like to reach out, who say, you know what, I'm ready to try to get a little healthier with my life, both inside and out, then we can actually launch a group of us to try 30 days towards healthier living starting in the month of July. So we'll take June to prepare and we'll kick it off in July. So a couple of things for you to know if you are not familiar with Arbonne is it is a line of products both for skincare as well as nutritional products. They offer quite the gamut. And the reason why we promote them, the reason why we use them as our skincare line are for a few things. So for example, the skincare and the nutrition products are all made with botanically based ingredients. Most are certified vegan, most are certified gluten-free. They have been clinically tested and they are certified cruelty-free, which is something that we stand behind. In addition, the Arbonne nutrition products are plant-powered with standardized extracts. They have non-GMO ingredients. They are formulated without dairy, soy, nuts, most common allergens, and they do not have any artificial colors, flavors, or sweeteners, which is what we like. So why does all of this actually matter? Why are we talking about skincare and why are we talking about nutrition at the same time? As we have talked many times before, if you've come into the spa, your skin is your largest organ. So what you're putting on your body is as important as what you're putting in your body. So we are going to balance this between skincare as well as nutritional supplements that you can try. I am not suggesting anyone needs to go out and buy anything. I will talk to you about products that I use and the products that are a part of the 30 Day to Healthy Living. And if you want more information, we can talk about that. But even if you decide that that's not what you want to do, you don't want to buy anything, or you have your own line of products and you don't need anything else, there are still subtle changes that you can be making to your diet and to your exercise over the course of a 30-day period that can have a tremendous impact on your weight, your energy level, your overall metabolism. At the end of the day, what we hear is people who are saying, especially when they're stressed, that they're not sleeping well. So your body is not recovering. You get a lot of folks who say, well, I lie in bed, but my mind is racing. They can't quite settle down. So we've talked a little bit about meditation for that. We get folks who say, even when I get 8 hours of sleep, I wake up and I'm exhausted throughout the day, or I'm reliant on cup after cup of coffee, and then I crash. And part of this is breaking that cycle. So the first thing that you should know is breaking habits fun? No. Anytime you're accustomed to caffeine, sugar, dairy, not exercising, trying something new is always an adjustment. So we try to make it as simple as possible for you, and we're going to take this in some steps. So Some of the things that I want you to understand, the very first step, and you can start working towards this now. If you think that you want to try to live healthier today, then I'm going to make some dietary suggestions. And that's the first thing we're going to talk about is what you can cut out and what you can add. And my advice is you start doing it a little bit at a time. You won't necessarily see that huge impact as opposed to going cold turkey on these items. But if you want to do the 30-day challenge in July, if you can start making some changes now over the course of the month of June, then in July it won't be quite as much of a shock to your system and you'll start becoming more in a habit. The important thing to realize is this isn't a diet. That there's no part of this where I'm going to say, okay, so you're going to eat these, tiny portioned meals for the rest of your life, because that's not necessarily sustainable or really healthy in the long run. The idea here is to try to create a different lifestyle, to try to create some greater balance in what you're doing every day. So for example, there are some common allergens that people don't realize are in fact allergens that we eat on a regular basis. So you've probably heard it: wheat, gluten, and yeast. Gluten became sort of the big thing a few years ago where everybody felt like they had to go gluten-free. And so what's the deal with gluten? And people will say, I don't have celiac disease, so gluten isn't bad for me. You may absolutely be correct. Part of the reason that we encourage folks to cut out gluten is because there are other effects besides the sort of nasty digestive tract issues that people who have celiac are dealing with. So for me, as an example, I notice that when I have too much wheat and gluten, my skin flares up. I'm very itchy. So there can be a lot of other things. People have noticed breakouts when they have too much gluten. And so people have noticed lacking in energy, lacking in concentration. There's a lot of different things that can be tied to gluten. So it's not just if you don't have a celiac condition, God bless. And we're not suggesting for the rest of your life that you can never eat gluten. I do eat bread. It's a matter of knowing that when I want to be really cleaning out my system, and to be clear, this is kind of the 30-day portion. When we do this in July, is really about resetting your system, cleaning everything out and inviting back in those things one at a time to see what you react to. So for me, knowing that gluten is an issue, I have very little of that in my diet. I don't have to 100% abstain like someone who has celiac who is going to always have an issue with it, but I make sure that I keep that at a minimum. The next is dairy. Dairy was tough for me. I am a lover of cheese and ice cream. However, dairy is also an inflammatory. So a lot of folks who are feeling stiffness, soreness in their joints, things that they're just sort of writing off as arthritic, is often because there's too much dairy in their diet. And so dairy is another one we cut out. Sugar and artificial sweeteners. First and foremost, let's just focus on the easy one, the artificial sweeteners. My advice to you is to cut out anything that is artificial. As a general rule, as Americans, I won't speak outside our country, but as Americans, we have an exceptionally chemical-based diet. And the only thing that should be eating chemicals would be maybe machinery, right? We should not be having chemicals in our body. So anything artificial, you're inviting something foreign and unnatural into your body. And sugar, as a general principle, this should not be news to anyone, it just gets stored as fat. In general, it is very difficult for us to burn as much sugar as we take in, and there's a lot of ways we take it in. And so as a result, what happens? It gets stored. And the belief is that, great, if we were, hibernating for the winter and our body was going to burn that fat because we weren't going to eat anything else, that would be lovely. But we don't. Tomorrow we're going to eat more sugar. And so it just gets stored. And the biggest reason people tend to pack on weight are the subtle ways in which they take in sugar. So sugar, big one. Alcohol. Lots of reasons for that, not the least of which is that alcohol has a high sugar content, but we're going to cut out alcohol. Coffee. Sorry, I know that's a tough one for a lot of folks, which is why I'm suggesting now, here it is June, let's have this be your prep month to get ready for July, because going cold turkey can be tough. We do offer some things that will help to sort of supplement, to make up for your lack of coffee, but coffee, again, it's an artificial stimulant, and it tends to throw off your body's just general arc of how you're going to move throughout your day. So you have this false sense of energy and then a crash. and then you do something to change that, which is either you take a nap, which is lovely, except that you're now screwing up your sleep pattern and just sort of bringing all of your energy down, or you eat something sugary, or you drink more coffee. And studies have also linked that too much coffee intake, and I'm talking more than a cup, but too much coffee on a regular basis actually slows our ability to lose weight. So if losing weight is a goal for you, coffee may be getting in your way. Vinegar and soy, again, inflammatory agents. So these are some items that we're looking to cut out. So what are some of the things that you're going to be adding in over time? One of the things that's my favorite is the Arbonne protein shake. Now I know some of you just rolled your eyes and cringed because protein shake sounds disgusting. It's not. They make them in a variety of flavors. Over the course of the year, they may add flavors, but their staples are the vanilla and the chocolate. My preference is the vanilla because some people will just put this in a mixer cup with some ice, shake it up and drink it, and you can, and that's fine. And it's more flavorful than most of the other protein shakes that are out there from what I have found. But quite honestly, if I'm using this as a meal replacement, I need it to be a smoothie. I need to throw it in the blender. I need to put some frozen fruit or some fresh fruit in there, and I need it to have good flavor. And I just find that the vanilla is a better base for the flavors than the chocolate. So the vanilla is my preference, but it is very filling. It doesn't have a chalky flavor. It's not gross, I assure you. So you're going to be looking at that. You want to be adding in fiber because you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to keep everything flowing in your colon. We don't want to have things locked up. And part of what we're trying to do is clean all that out. Without getting too far into anything disgusting, you're holding on to a lot down there. So you're going to find that you're going to eat a lot of non-starchy vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy carbs, because there are healthy carbs like brown rice and quinoa. Those are healthier carbs as opposed to spaghetti and white rice, which are really just complex sugars. And you're also going to get some healthy fats. There are also some other things that you can do for yourself. So one of the things that I do, I always have gut issues. I take the Arbonne Digestion Plus, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a future session. But that's just something I've mixed with water. It doesn't have any taste at all, and it's kind of just helps keep my colon healthy. So wrapping up for today, we're going to start talking week by week through the 30 days to healthy living to help get you on track. We're going to take baby steps over the month of June. And for those who are interested, look at doing basically a 30-day, you can think of it as like a cleanse, if you will, but a 30-day program starting in July. So baby steps for this next month. Start cutting back towards the elimination of wheat, gluten, and yeast, dairy, sugar and artificial sweeteners, alcohol, coffee, vinegar, and soy, and start increasing your intake of non-starchy veggies like kale, mustard greens, spinach, broccoli, increasing your lean proteins, wild fish, organic chicken, turkey, grass-fed beef, tofu, healthy carbs instead of just sugary carbs like brown rice, quinoa, sweet potatoes, and healthy fats like seeds and nuts, nut butters instead of peanut butter, nut oils, olive oil, and avocado. If you want more information, don't hesitate to reach out through either you can personal message me through Facebook or you can contact us via our number, 443-734-7837, and I'll be happy to talk you through that. We're going to come back next Wednesday and we're going to talk more about next steps towards your 30 days to healthy living. In the meantime, please be safe out there, be well, know that we're thinking of you.